All right, hello everyone. We're just going to be getting started here. Tom from Coastal Windows will be joining as the sales manager and is very knowledgeable. He's going to sit down. We have a list of questions prepared, but he's just getting connected. I have a list of questions that we're going to cover, and then also for the people joining, if you had any questions that were top of mind, you can message them in the chat. The ones that we have on the list are what are the best way to replace my windows? Should I replace them all at once? How do I know I'm getting a good quality window? What are the best windows for cold climates? What's your primary window offer and why? What is the highest quality, and what if there's a problem with the windows? So there's a lot of good things that we're going to cover. But if you have any questions that you really want to cover that I didn't mention, just mention it in the chat, and I'm definitely gonna do that now. I'll just send a little test message here for you guys. Please chat questions here. All right, and then I'm gonna make sure Tom's all set up on his microphone, and then I'm going to go grab him and we can get started. And shouldn't take too long. We'll cover some great content today. Computer audio. All right, so that's connected now, and you guys should hear. We have a chat coming through now too. Yeah. All right. So
Get started, buddy. No problem.
I'm gonna mute my microphone. We'll just use yours. All right, we can see you.
There you go. Awesome.
You can see me. This is, you can introduce yourself and let us know. I gave a quick introduction before you came in, but.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I'm Tom Ingram. I'm the Vice President of Sales here at Coastal Windows and Exteriors. I deal a lot with the reps and the product knowledge and the training of our educational approach to what we do. And I also do a lot of client management and making sure that people are happy. I do a lot of walkthroughs, making sure that the homes are what we promise when we finish. And pretty much a jack of all trades with the company. So
great.
Right.
All right, and if you want to share your screen, just let me know and I'll show you how to do that.
Okay.
As we go through the questions.
Sure.
Let's see, we did have another question come in. So since that was the first question that came through the chat, we can ask that one. That's fun. Are triple pane windows the best option for a north-facing window? And then there's a follow-up question. Concerned with maintaining as much glass as possible.
Right.
How does Coastal Windows compare?
Okay, so if we got to talk about the triple pane is a great alternative to an area like the north-facing side of the house because of how cold it will get. There's a lot of different reasons why people will choose triple pane. One of the main reasons why somebody will choose triple pane is the energy benefits. So the U factor that drops it down, very technical, gets down to a 0.17 on most of the energy efficient glass packages, which will really improve someone's thermal efficiency on their windows. But what I typically like to tell homeowners is that when it comes to triple pane, there's a lot of other reasons to have triple pane, meaning that triple pane acts as noise reduction glass. It almost hits the same rating as a laminate glass package, which a laminate glass package can get extremely expensive. So by doing triple pane, since you have the 3 layers of glass, it almost hits the same metrics when it comes to sound transmission through a home as a energy or noise reduction glass package. So with that being said, if somebody lives on a busy road and they have the busy road at the front of their house, a lot of people like having triple pane glass package on the front of their home and then having double pane on the back just from the noise cancellation alone. That's huge. That's one of the huge benefits we'll see from like a single pane window or a cheaply made double pane or single pane with storms compared to something like a triple pane. That is enormous. When it comes to the glass space, there's a lot of different ways that you can address glass space. One of the main ways you can address glass space is by doing a full frame tear out. So instead of doing a replacement window, you can go all the way down to the studs, strip everything out, re-insulate the entire window, and gain as much glass space as possible when replacing your units. If you are stuck budgetarily or whatever the case may be with replacement windows, our windows are typically 27 profile window. However, what we do with our slim profile window is that we have reinforcement throughout the entire window. So throughout the median rail and up and down inside the stiles of the window, we have a fiber core window to be very, very slim without having to worry about the windows that smile. You know, if anybody's ever had cheap vinyl windows before, over time with a heavy glass package, particularly on really big windows, they'll start to sag. If it's not locked, the window will start to sag. And when it starts to sag, the window will start to fail, it starts to become leaky. It can also be extremely, ugly, for lack of a better term. The aesthetics really drop. So one of the things we do is we reinforce this entire window so we can gain as much glass space as possible and also not have to worry about the hardships that a homeowner will go through with a slim profile window. If you have very small windows and you get a slim profile and it's cheaper, they're very small, their weight's probably not going to push down the sash. But most people here in Mass have extremely large windows. Our average UI that we replace is around 95 United inches, which is the width and the height of the window added together. I think nationwide it's about 84 United inches is the average for a double hung. So that being said, we have fairly large windows on our nice Garrison Colonials here. So to gain as much glass space as possible, finding an alternative that has the reinforcement and a slimmer profile is fantastic. But the best thing to do for your home is to redo the entire window opening with a full frame tear out, which we have a video on YouTube. Go Sunrise full frame tear out, and it'll show you an install of our full frame tear out with a slim profile window, and it shows you how much glass space you can gain. Before we proceed with full frame tear out, the reason that they cost more is we're ripping everything out. You're going all the way down to the buck frame. You're ripping out all the old casing, all the old brick mold on the outside, which is the trim on the outside of the home. You have to replace all of that. So that's one of the main reasons why the cost gets driven up.
Awesome. I think that was a very thorough answer.
Yeah, a little bit of product nerd.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Let's see. There's one that's a little bit more of a specific questions. I think I'll have you follow up with David after that, just so that everybody else watching can get to some of the other questions. What is the best way to replace your windows? Just because apparently it was new to me that you can have there is more than one way. I just thought you just replace your window. So could you talk a little bit about the different ways?
Yeah. So it's kind of a loaded question, but we bring it down to just like the different types of windows you can purchase. That might be a little bit easier. So there are windows you can go to local lumber yards, or you can buy standard sizes, and whatever's closest to the size of your opening, you take the window, you shim it into place, you put insulation around it, and then you put new trimming, new casing, new stops, sometimes extended stops, and you can put a new window kind of to fit inside of your pre-existing opening, right? That's kind of the off-the-rack look. Same thing with anything that's going to be tailored for you. If you're going to have tailored clothing, you typically look a lot nicer and fit a lot nicer and you feel a lot better than having something off the rack at Kohl's, right? So that's kind of the idea of that. So you're trying to make a window fit your house rather than, having the window made for your home. You'd rather have something that's custom made for your home to improve the benefits of the energy efficiency, the aesthetics. If you're worried about glass space, doing the off-the-rack window really should not be it shouldn't even be an option for you, because you're bringing in the window a little bit, and then you have a new frame, then you have the insulation, and then you have, the glass space just gets shrunken in so much that it's not really beneficial for increasing your glass space or maintaining as much as possible. So going with any of us, preferred contractors that do a thorough inspection, go all the way down from 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch inside the jamb for a replacement, and having them tailored and made for your home, made to order for your home, is extremely important for you to have the energy benefits, because it's very tight inside the opening, so draftiness won't occur. aesthetics. They look a lot nicer. They're manufactured for your home. Just like anybody that's ever bought a suit or a well-tailored dress, they understand something that's made for your body is typically going to look better than something that's made for everybody. So with windows, that's the way that I would go if it was me. And if it was my home, I would always go with a company that would do a critical measurement, order the windows first, the specific reason of your home and only your home. And that would be the route that I would always go as far as replacing. And buying something off the rack is an option. And it's not a bad thing, particularly if you have a kid that just launched a baseball, or if it was me, a lacrosse ball through your window, and you need a window tomorrow. Doing something like that is a great option, and it's good to have it. There's a market for it. But if it's something that the urgency isn't there, you have the time to think about the most educated decision for your home, going the tailored route, even though it's a little bit more money, is more appropriate, particularly when your homes are so old. Because I'm originally from Annapolis, Maryland. There's a lot of homes there that are engineered. Every single window is exactly the same size. If you own one home or multiple homes en masse, nothing is the same size. Everything has been touched. If it's 50 years old, there's probably been 4 generations of families that have lived in there and changed it and altered it. And yeah, there's nothing in Massachusetts that is standard. So that would be the route that I would recommend in this climate.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Another one is, we know that homeowners, as they should, get lots of quotes and look into all different options and probably hear prices all over the place. What are some ways that they can know if they're getting a good quality window, like things to look out for, or I don't know, just little things to understand why they might be getting price ranges?
Sure. Yeah. So when it comes to a higher quality product, you'll find a lot of the companies that offer a nice window will have very nice air infiltration ratings. They'll have great U factors and R value as well. All those things are important. However, there is something called a beauty queen window, which we all joke about. It's pretty much when they do the Fenestration Rating Council, or AMA, AAMA, American Architectural Manufacturers Association, they do their annual test on a product. They'll make a window, and if you do standard AMA, they take it once a year, they measure it and make sure it hits the numbers you're supposed to hit, and that's it. Now, AMA has a second level where it's AMA Gold, where they randomly select and test windows throughout the year rather than once a year. So the benefit for a homeowner if they buy an AMA Gold label window is that window that you have in your home could have technically been taken off the rack by this Fenestration Rating Council or AMA, and they go and check that window to make sure it hits the same standards as what you're looking at in a brochure. So that whole peace of mind argument is there. So we have the beauty queen windows that look great on paper because they tested one great product, but it doesn't mean that every single one of their products is going to be manufactured the exact same way. And one of the problems with our industry is that regulation really isn't there. It's really up to the companies that you choose to do business with to provide you with the information and evidence to show that they are holding a certain standard. One of the ways you can hold that standard to make sure the product is exactly what it says when you go to buy it is having that AMA Gold label on a window. And there's a lot of great companies out there that have it. It's not like you're stuck with only one company. It's not like we're the only company around here that do AMA Gold label windows. A lot of our competitors do. A lot of the nicer competitors, but a lot of our competitors do. So, people that take a little bit more care in their customers are typically the ones that do so. However, those windows are not the cheapest around, but you're getting exactly what you paid for, which I think is more important.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like you're buying windows more than unless you buy bad ones.
Right. Yeah, this should be a one-time, if you live in your home and you're living there for 20 plus years, you should do this once in your life. If you're going to live in one home for the rest of your life, this should be the only time you ever do windows. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're doing it multiple times over, then something's wrong.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Sometimes people get nervous because they think you have to replace all the windows at once. Sure. I mean, I guess ideally you could, but can you just talk about whether or not people, really need to replace them all at once, and what should be the reasoning and the thinking when they're going to go into it?
Right. Yeah. So in a perfect world, we would get everything done at once. The reason we would get everything done at once is we would only have to deal with the process one time. Right. It's not the easiest thing in the world with everyone's busy schedules. I assume most of you have children or have a busy life. If you don't have kids, you're probably going out and playing in the softball league yourself. You want to do things outside of work. You want to enjoy your labor, So That being said, you don't want to have 3 or 4 times where a company's coming in and installing the windows. If you don't mind, that's completely fine. You can do whatever you like. However, in a perfect world, obviously you get everything done all at once, right? It just makes it simpler. Your life's a little simpler. It's one day that you really have to deal with it, maybe 2, and then it's all good. You're buttoned up, you're real tight. But for most people, particularly the ones that want to pay cash, because a lot of people that want to finance, this is an easy way alternative to get everything done at once, and it's cheaper for you. However, if you wanted to stick to your budget and stick to cash, right, you can compartmentalize your home when it comes to doing your windows. The way that I would do it, the way that I typically recommend, is I do it 2 different ways. I recommend you either do the areas you spend the most time in your house in so that you feel the most comfortable. So if you were like my family growing up, we spent a ton of time in the kitchen. Every time we would have talks or every time we would have a family meeting, which is more so our parents just telling us what to do and how to do our chores. Whenever we had a party, whenever we had Thanksgiving, everyone hung out in the kitchen, right? So doing those type of windows, being comfortable in the areas that you live in the most is probably the most important, because you want to get a little bit of that feeling of what you spent your money on. If that's not the route you're thinking about going, I always recommend doing the upstairs before you do the downstairs, just because a lot of people have the older furnace systems, older heating systems. And if it's running and running and running and running, it's wearing it out sooner than later, right? You're going to burn up your furnace, and now you have to get your windows and your furnace. So when the heat is produced in your home, heat rises. If it rises to the second floor, more of that's going to be retained if you do the windows upstairs, right? And if we're retaining more heat upstairs, when you go to sleep at night, you're more comfortable. Right? There's nothing worse than going to sleep at night and you're just uncomfortable the entire night. You wake up groggy the next day. So I typically recommend that. Now, there's tons of different reasons. Kind of a loaded question, because someone has security issues. They live on a main road and the locks on their windows are broken, and they want to make sure that yeah, of course, do those windows first, right? Mm-hmm. But in a perfect world, do them all. In a non-perfect world, do the areas you live the most in. And if you don't want to do that, do the upstairs, because at least you're going to retain as much heat as possible inside the home. You're going to get more benefits by doing it that way. Plus, when you go to sleep at night, new windows reduce your noise, and they also keep the room more comfortable, meaning that if you're 72 degrees on your thermostat, like my house, which most people think is absolutely crazy, you will keep that 72 degree, and you don't have to listen to your furnace running all day, every day.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, you obviously know a ton about windows.
Yeah.
That's probably just the start of it. As somebody with the extensive background in windows, right, what does Coastal Windows choose for their primary window offering, knowing, like, having all these factors come in? Like, what is the one that you guys offer?
We do have exclusivity with the Sunrise Restorations product. It's a very, very nice product. It has the most energy efficient glass package available in our region. It's made for the New England region. It's what's most beneficial for most of our homeowners. And the reason I say that is that you can choose accessory pieces, right? So a lot of people that have, if you have a nice house in Beverly where we are, or if you're in Swampscott or Marblehead, where you want all these benefits, but you don't want the high maintenance of the window, we have the alternative to take off accessory pieces, meaning that our window doesn't have a bunch of plastic pieces all over it. You can get rid of the lift rails. It's a slimmer profile, so it looks more historic. It has nice beveling to it rather than just being a nice flat surface. You can do them with external grids that have simulated divided light, so it looks like a true historic window from the road. It's a painter's white window. It doesn't have a blue hue to it from being over bleached. It's UPVC. It's a rigid building material. It's made to last forever. I find that the majority of our customers customers everywhere want the best of both worlds. They want everything, right? And that's what we can provide with that product without breaking the bank. We can have a nice historic looking window. It's a slimmer profile. It retains on the average 27% more glass space than the average replacement window. And it looks more historically accurate to your home. So some people care about that, some people don't. But when it comes to caring about that, if you don't care about that, but you don't plan on living in your home forever, then the next person you plan on selling the house to may really like that. And if they don't care, then you have brand new energy efficient windows in your house, so it doesn't matter. However, you want to make sure that you're appealing to other audiences in the future if and when you decide to sell your home. And one of the things people move to New England, like when I moved to New England and I'm looking at homes now, I look for historic style New England homes as kind of the, it's the beauty of living here on the North Shore or living in Massachusetts in general. I mean, I follow something called Historic Homes on Instagram, and there are always homes in Mass. The homes they post, these beautiful homes, it's always Massachusetts colonial homes. So getting as close to that colonial style is what's beneficial for our customers. So we have the energy benefits, we have the air infiltration rating, so it's a less drafty window. We have great air infiltration ratings, one of the best energy efficiency on the glass, plus it looks like a New England style window. And since it looks like a New England style window, that's the reason why we choose it. And it's not the only product that we use. There's a lot of great stuff. I mean, Marvin's a great window. We've done Marvin historic windows in Beacon Hill. They're extremely expensive, but we've done them. We do Marvin. We've done Pella Architects where historic regions say that they have to have a Pella Architect. Now, we'll do it, but if it's my preferred product, like I just sold them to my mom. I didn't sell them, but I provided her with her windows. And I sent them up to Buffalo and had her contractor install them because I truly believe in our Sunrise product. That's the one that we typically walk in because we have exclusivity with it. And it's an amazing product. It's an amazing company. One of the best things about Sunrise is I can call their CEO tomorrow. The guy always answers the phone. And Tim Wilcox, our rep from Sunrise, is amazing. He's always available for us. So I like that because we don't exist. We don't pay for TV ads. We don't pay for commercials. We don't do all that. We rely on people being happy. So having them at I can grab whomever I need to give them a hard time if a customer's not happy is important for me and my business. And it's also important for my homeowners because I want them to be happy. And they need to get the level of quality and service that I would expect on my house. And this is the product and this is the company that I trust to do that for my customers.
Awesome. So that's great to know the support because, one of the biggest things that you get with Coastal Windows is, the warranty and the service after. Do you want to just talk a little bit about that? Yeah,
sure. So we have a fully transferable lifetime warranty that transfers to the next homeowner. Remodeling Magazine, in partnership with Realtor.com, just came out with the new stats. Nationwide, it's about 71% return on investment when it comes to getting composite or vinyl windows. But in New England, we're showing about an 82% return on investment compared to the rest of the country. I think one of the reasons being is that energy is more important to us up here than most places. A lot of people have very drafty homes. And the other reason is that everything in Mass seems to cost more than everywhere else in the country. So you get a little bit more bang for your buck up here. And then what was the part of the question? Oh, what we do. Okay, so with our warranty. So we have the transferable warranty, so it adds the value to the home. It also has a warranty that's every single part of the window. So we have accidental glass breakage, which a lot of companies don't have, or if they do have it, it's prorated. So I grew up in a community that was near a golf course, and there's my friends that lived on the golf course community. They would have broken windows and stuff all the time. They would always have to pay a glass company that reglaze their window and redo it. Ours is accidental glass breakage. It doesn't matter how it breaks. It's covered. We send out a brand new sash, not just the glass, the entire sash. Put a brand new sash in, and your window gets brand new. Every single window in the bottom right-hand corner has a SKU number. So God forbid something were to happen to our company, you're completely covered for that window, regardless of whether we exist or not, which is a lot of people's biggest hang-up. The average remodeling company, 80% are out of business within the first 5 years. So with that being said, purchasing from anybody under 5 years old is a risk. Now, we're in 9 years now, but even at 9 years, that's a big risk because out of that 80%, the 20% that's left, 96% are out before 7 years. It's a very high turnover industry. So my biggest concern is making sure that our customers are taken care of regardless of whether we are in business or not, even though I hope that we're in business forever. I want to make sure that people are completely covered. So if they're completely covered, they are, that's one of the owners there, David. If they're completely covered, whether I'm around or not, that makes me feel confident every time I walk into somebody's home. So the warranty on the window, you have a certified installer. We use Installation Master certifications when it comes to our certified installs. So the windows are going to be installed by the manufacturer as far as their approval rating. So you can't run into the issues of an improperly installed window. So that's the biggest gripe when it comes to warranty, because somebody will have a warranty and they'll realize, hey, it's not the window, it's the installer. So it turns into a finger-pointing game, and nobody knows who's supposed to cover the product. With us, we get rid of that. It's out of the equation. We have certified installers that are certified installers we've always used. and they go in and install the products for us and Sunrise, and it gives the person a maximum warranty. But the big thing is glass breakage. A lot of people freak out about glass breakage and argon dissipation, and our windows are guaranteed to not deal with those type of issues.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So going on about a little bit more about the windows.
Mm-hmm.
Does Coastal Windows have any promotions running this month and in the winter?
Yeah. We actually, it's huge. It's unbelievable. We're doing this is the biggest promotion we've ever done, and for a few reasons we've changed things up a little bit. But I also have we're looking for growth. We've gotten to this point in our company now that we are ready for the next level. So we're trying to jazz up a little bit of excitement before we kick off this year. And one of the ways we've done so is we're doing 20% off of all of our products across the board until the end of this month. All right. So that means that it's a true 20% off on anything that we would do. And that's the best, and it's the steepest we've ever gone. On top of that, we're also offering the, by 12 months, no interest, no payment. So people that are waiting for a tax return, you can wait 2 tax seasons before you actually have to pay this, because that gets instilled once the windows are installed and finished. We also have a very aggressive financing for people that just need a nice, easy payment plan. Some people, it's not about getting the windows done. They're trying to figure out how they're going to be able to pay for this, right? Trying to figure out how they're going to pull 5, 10, 20 grand out and buy a whole house full of windows. I mean, the average American has less than 8 grand in their savings account as far as a family, the average American household. So with that being said, doing $10,000 worth of windows is a big investment for the majority of us out there. So what we do is we provide multiple levels of financing. One of the ones that people are really going after are the 10-year plans. And we have interest rates that are, for the qualified buyer, much less than 10%, which seems a little ridiculous, 10%, but it's an unsecured loan. No one's going to repossess the windows. And anyone's dealt with an unsecured loan before know they're usually about 25%. We can get people lower than 6, right? And that's almost where a mortgage is. So what we're talking about is people that just need a payment plan. It's not about the people that have the cash. It's about the single mother that has 5 kids that needs to get the energy benefits from the windows and can't pay 20 grand. That person needs to have a payment plan that's around the cost of a cell phone payment. That's an easy way to make sure that she buttons up her house, she keeps her house more secure, more energy efficient, and it's affordable. So you don't have to sacrifice your levels of quality and what you want, rather than, you don't have to sacrifice that. You can just have an easier method of paying for what you need to do for your home and the company that you choose to go with. So the buy one, get one 40% off on the windows is great, but we're also running 20% off of our doors, 20% off roofing right now, which with the weather we've gotten, it's been fantastic. 20% off on siding, which when siding investments, they're very large investments. So we're talking about saving some people tens of thousands of dollars depending on how big their home is. So this is a big promotion that we have going on right now. With the financing in conjunction with that, it's really aggressive. It turns out to be a very, very good promo that we have going on right now. It's not the best for my pocketbook, but it's the best for our customers, really trying to creating the energy we want for the beginning of this year.
Awesome. Yeah, so those were all the questions I had. I haven't had any newer ones come in. There's one attendee that I'll probably have you follow up with directly, because they're specific questions, but good questions.
Yeah.
And then, this was our first webinar, and I'm very impressed with how you handled it. And the next one is going to be next month. Is going to be completely geared towards what you can do to increase the value of your home through exterior products. So that'll be a fun one, and I know you have a lot of passion for that.
Yeah, I do. And one last thing when it comes to windows, I had a gentleman that used to work with me, Peter Ryan. He was not Peter Ryan, the roofing company. Peter Ryan is a gentleman that used to, he's very big in Newburyport. He's a part of the community there. A lot of people know him, and he told me, when I was starting out with windows with him, about how the windows are the only thing on your house that can affect the interior and the exterior of your home at the same time. So always remember that, okay? When it comes to your windows, if you are going to increase the benefits of, say, the energy efficiency on your products and on your windows, don't just think about the energy efficiency benefits. Those are great, and they are fantastic for your home. You save money, yada, yada. It's all great. However, there are a lot of products that do both, that give you the aesthetic benefits and the benefits of having something beautiful on the outside of your home, And then also when you go up to your window and you go to open it, you feel good. It looks good. You're looking out of this window. I mean, when you see your kids in the backyard and you just got brand new windows, the last thing you want to do is be in this little shrunken down space that you used to have the beautiful view of your backyard. You lost all this glass space, and yeah, it hits the energy ratings, but it's a big old bulky, mess. I had a lady that requested these windows from this company that used to be around in this area. And we didn't do them, and I didn't know anything about the product. And she said, I just want to match the rest of my house. And I went out and picked up that product for her, installed them in her home, and she cried. And the reason that she cried is that these windows are much smaller than the windows that she had on the bottom level of her house. And they shrunk in the glass base so much that it looked like she was looking through little portholes or jail cell windows. It was unbelievable. And I've never dealt with anything like that before. And I was a young rep at the time. So going through that's not an experience I want to ever have again. So one of the things I always try to impose to people when it comes to choosing the right company for your windows, even though the install, that's great, is just remember that this isn't just the energy ratings and all the things that all of us companies try to push on homeowners. It's about something you have to live with every single day, and it affects the outside aesthetics of your home and the inside of your home. It's one of the only things you can do for your house that will have such a dramatic impact on the exterior of your house, as well as the interior and the feel of the inside of your home too. So that's one thing I would always consider when it comes to purchasing something like that for your home, because it's an investment. And curb appeal is great, but if it looks horrible on the inside of the house, that's curb appeal only goes so far, right? So always consider both of the options, both the alternatives of the windows. Look at both sides. Think about whether you like them or not, and also think about the size of your windows. Think about, the glass space. Think about the things you really care about. Before you have a representative come to your house, think about the issues you truly care about. Now, it's our jobs as professionals to ask you questions to make sure that we are fitting your needs and what you're looking for your home. However, also have an idea, because there's a lot of times you'll miss a great product just because you really don't know what you want to do yet. But most of us know what we don't want. We don't know what we want, but we know exactly what we don't want. So just write down what you would look for, write down the things you don't want in a window, and then you can keep it to yourself. And then if you see the product, they show you a sample. If they don't show you a sample, run. But if they show you a sample, make sure it's something that you would like to see inside your home. And if that's the window you would like to see in your home, and that's the company you can imagine yourself doing business with, and the representative that's selling you the windows or providing you with the service, you want to make sure that's somebody you can work with too, because it's important. Most people don't, like I said before, they don't have this type of money just to throw around, right? So finding the best company and the best product and then the best people is really your best bet. You can't really go wrong with that. And a lot of people get all these quotes and they get confused. But one of the things is that, finding the right company and the right people is really all that matters. Finding the products that work best for you and you like it, chase all your check marks is great. But then find the company, then find the people, and 99% of the time you're going to be happy.
All right, awesome.
Awesome, buddy.
I think just taking one more check to see if anybody had any additional questions, but I think that pretty much does it, and we're just about on time. I think I had a lot an hour, but thinking that most people would want to, have a quick half hour.
Yeah, and then the next time we talk
session
about the return on investment, I was just in the middle of training some people when it comes to roofing, because we've been doing so much roofing right now. So I'm a little mushed in the brain. I have roofing on my mind right now. So, if anybody has any questions for the next time we do one of these and they want to ask a window-specific question, even though we'll talk about return on investment and the value of the home, I'm more than willing to address them. Or if you would like me to address them personally or one-on-one, you can email me at tingram@mycoastalwindows.com, mycoastalwindows.com. That's T as in Tom, Ingram, just like the football players and just like everybody else with last name Ingram with an I, at mycoastalwindows.com.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thank you.